Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome. What happened to my voice? And welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I'm Alex Whiteley, of course, and I'm really excited to be doing this because this is the first sort of sit-aroundy type podcast I've done in a long time. We've been doing a lot of events and on-location things, so there's traffic in the background and walking around with a microphone, and I'm not in my place of ease as I am now. And today, I'm speaking to a guy. His name has been brought up to me many, many times when it comes to food and entrepreneurial skills, and that's Ryan King. How are you?
I'm very well, Alex. Thanks for having me.
It's took a while to plan this because we're all busy people, right? It's one of those things where you go, can you do Thursday at 8? Like, no, I can't do Thursday at 8. I'm doing the radio. Can you do this? No, I can't do. It's just it's nuts, isn't it?
Time seems to be precious at the moment, and flying by.
I want to go start from the beginning because obviously there are things that we can talk about people will recognise for sure that you're involved with. But let's talk about where are you from? Where do you begin?
Yeah, well, I'm born and bred in Shrewsbury. Just basically from Shrewsbury. Born and bred, like I said.
Have you moved away and come back? Or
I've moved away the last 5 years. I moved to Ibiza. Worked there for 4 years, which was an amazing experience. Worked out there. Prior to that, had a restaurant, which was a smokehouse, which was a smokehouse barbecue.
The Smoke Stop.
Smoke Stop.
Oh, it was yours?
Yeah, that was mine. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it was an old country pub, and my father had it, and it kind of just blended into kind of Sunday roast, busy on a Sunday, the odd meals on a Saturday, and it just kind of, it was working, but it wasn't busy from kind of Monday to Thursday.
There's lots of pubs like that though, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think to make a success of a restaurant, it needs to be busy Monday to Thursday. I think Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that kind of pays your bills, but to make money, I think it's Monday to Thursday, and it just wasn't doing that. So yeah. I kind of had a heart to heart with my dad and said, listen, I really do think
we need to change things up around here.
Change things up. That was it.
Yeah.
I think that was the kind of the conversation that we had, and I did.
What a change you made as well. I
know. I did a business plan for my dad, and I said, this is the way forward. I think in the food industry, it was a current. Man versus food was about. It was eating with your hands. It was all them challenges. It was all kind of the theatre within food.
Yeah.
And
I think man versus food. I mean, we've spoken to a few. Randy Santel's a friend of ours from USUC. He's one of the biggest now at the moment on YouTube, millions of followers. But man versus food was the first. I think one of the first. It's on the Travel Channel. It's kind of like they eat that kind of food in America. They drip cheese on things. It kind of really illustrated how sexy food can be. And we're like, mash and sprouts over here.
And the thing is, they do that without using cutlery.
Just
do with their hands, and it's like back down to like the caveman days. And that's what I wanted to kind of introduce, where it's that laid back dining.
Yeah.
So I did a business plan. Then I went to Texas. Did
really
research. Yeah, I went to Texas for 3 weeks.
Of all places to go for food,
Texas. It was the best. I got a little job out there. For 2 days, and a guy showed me how to smoke all the food correctly and give me so much tips and just everything. I went around all the smokehouses. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, just every day.
Have you still got the smoke stop?
No, we got rid of it. We got rid of it around about 4 or 5 years ago, and that was when I went to Ibiza. Then just completely, because it was hard. It was full on. It was a full on operation.
It's a busy place, and I remember about 5. Oh my gosh, when was this? Probably about 5 years ago. We went there for my birthday. It was an amazing experience, and we've been there now and again. And it's one of those places where in fact, I went there. It was last year, obviously, so you don't have it anymore. But I took some cameras and I took some pictures. And my co-host Tom Bruno, who's in Vermont, I was kind of like, "How authentic is this? How American is this place?" And he gave it top marks. And so it was really good. So,
I'm glad, because I haven't been in there since.
When you sell a place like that, is it kind of like, I don't want to go back there, or is it kind of weird?
It is a bit weird. You don't want to kind of go back there, but
I'm back.
Who
are you?
Yeah. by all accounts, they haven't changed anything in it. So it must have tested the test of time, really. So So yeah, it was. It was like I said, it was a full on project. It was.
You did that at the right time.
Yeah,
I feel
we were the only smokehouse in Shropshire. We were the first smokehouse in Shropshire, and then obviously when we sold it, then obviously Hickories and you know, they're a different animal. Them you can't compete with them. So we did sell it at the right time, but I did want to open another one, and then we just had the honest conversation with the family and just. You know, my dad and mum are retired now, so you know it was good. It was a good time to sell.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. It is interesting to hear that, you know, because that. I mean, like thinking about it, you did it perfectly, in and out. Like that was like very quick, very clever.
It was, and you know, I didn't really want to do challenges. I was kind of against them, but I think it was like supply and demand, and everyone wanted challenges. So we did a wing challenge, a burger challenge, a hot dog challenge, and people were coming from the Midlands to try and tackle this burger challenge.
We used to go to the Prize Lodge when we lived in Telford. Mm-hmm. And we used to go there because they used to have a challenge burger thing. Yeah. But I'd buy it because it was just cheap. I'm not for the challenge. I'm like, I don't care if I bitch on the wall. It's like a tenner and I get a massive burger and loads of chips. I'm going to buy that rather than spend £15 on your gimmick.
Serve the whole family. Burger because it's so big.
Yeah. But they are popular, those challenges. You're right. Yeah. But you must lose money. You must lose money in those things.
Well, yeah, you do. And, you know, I do believe that, you know, theatre within food, you know, looking at stuff and, you know, Instagram's so popular for people to take photos.
Oh, yeah, right. I mean, if a YouTuber or a vlogger comes in that's got...
massive. So, like I said, we had a lot of people coming from the Midlands further afield than that to come and tackle this burger, and these hot wings were ridiculously hot. It was just...
I don't believe you.
Yeah, it was
ridiculous. I don't know if Liam's told you, but we are now the current world hot wing champions. Now we did a hot wing quiz between us and my team in America, and we won this year. And it was on the team was me, Liam, and Darren from Gin Different. And we won. Wow. And we won. It was fantastic. The wings we got though. I'm friends with oh my god, his name skipped my head, from a farm.
Yeah.
He sent us his sauces that he uses for the hot ones.
Yeah.
And we had to go on them, and they blow your face off.
It's just not nice. It's proper uncomfortable, isn't it? It's just not. They're just not nice.
So when you saying it was full on the smoke stop, and you know, I imagine it was because whenever I've gone there, it's been incredibly busy. And then you moved to Ibiza.
Yeah.
What kind of did you go for?
Yeah, I just wanted to, you know, change it up really. You know, like I said, Smoke Stop was very, very full on. I worked in the kitchen there because obviously I'd gone to Texas and learned how to do it, and because we were the first smokehouse in Shropshire, there wasn't any chefs that could do that job. So obviously I went out there and learned how to do it. So I was kind of in the kitchen smoking the food and getting up at 5 a.m. and smoking brisket and, you know, chickens, and you know, so it was very, very full on, and we had it for 2 years, and I literally worked every single day. Didn't have a day off, every day.
We run out of wings. Where's Ryan?
Yeah. And I'm getting up at 5 a.m, you know, just constantly stinking of smoke, and having a shower at the end of the night. It was like, you know, a bloodbath, but it was like barbecue sauce just dripping off me. It was just all red. So we sold it, had a bit of time out.
Victim of your own success then.
Yeah. And I just kind of thought I needed to reset. And I just thought one day I woke up in the morning and I just decided that I'm going to go and work in Ibiza. Went out there, had a few contacts out there, and ended up working at Ocean Beach Club for 3 years.
What were you doing there?
I was a VIP waiter. So from having my own business to you know, being a waiter was amazing. Like, you know, getting told off for being late for work, you know, stuff like that, which I've never really had before because I've obviously had my own places before. So it was just amazing. I met the most amazing people, worked for the most amazing business operators. It was just, and I learned so much out there. It was just amazing.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it was just amazing, and
it's just an interesting concept to me that, you know, obviously you kind of run your own place, and you go like, no, I want to know what it feels like to actually work for.
Well, I've worked for people, you know, I've worked at the Mitten and Mermaid for Chris Burt, and I've worked different places.
Shout out Chris Burt.
Yeah, shout out Chris Burt. But yeah, to work for Ocean Beach, which is, you know, the biggest beach club in the world, you know, to be a VIP waiter was just special because you looked after like 4 beds a day. So you could have a hen do, a stag do, celebrities, footballers, and you look after these 4 beds a day. and you've just got
The high expectation, though.
very high expectations. It's not like a waiter where you would look after.
Excuse me, but where's the gold flakes?
Yeah, it was just, very full on.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a waiter at a restaurant where you look after them for an hour. You look after these guys for 10 hours. So it's very intense.
I'm a big fan of Bar Rescue on Amazon.
Yeah.
John Taffer is like one of my heroes. I love him to bits. And watching how they come in and transform bars and talk about the VIP, because that's one of the things they talk about is like when you're a VIP waiter or waitress.
Yeah, they expect that.
It's got to be perfect.
Yeah. But to be honest, I looked after, not name dropping, but I looked after a lot of VIP celebrities, and 9 times out of 10 they were absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
They used to say to me, if I wasn't a footballer or I wasn't a singer, I would want this job.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, wow, and they loved like me serving them. So it was a really good experience. And like I said, I worked for a really good operators out there, Tony Truman, which is the owner, and Wayne Lineker, which he's the owner, but his son's the owner as well, Dwayne Lineker. But just amazing people. I learnt a lot regarding business. I was always asking them questions. How is this run? How is this done? How is this done? They were like, why are you asking questions? And they would tell me. So I learnt a lot from them.
I'm walking behind you, my kid's swinging a lightsaber. You need to be careful of that, Timmy. You're going to take the TV out in a minute. Why don't you go and do that in your bedroom? Yeah, a bit more space and stuff. So to go and do that, I mean, how long did you do that for?
I did that for 3 years, and then I ran a hotel out there called WikiWoo, which the owner of Ocean Beach, he kind of promoted me to be a manager at his hotel called WikiWoo. Yeah, so I was manager there for a season. And then I decided to come home then after that.
Because you've got like two different sides to Ibiza, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've got the 18 to 30s.
Yeah.
And then you've got the quiet kind of like, I'm not getting get involved with that.
Yeah.
So were you the 1830s crazy?
It was in San Antonio, so yeah, it was very, very lively. But Ibiza is just an amazing place. It's just amazing. The beaches, the restaurants, the people that you meet, and it is a very, very special place. As cheesy as that sounds, it's a magnetic place. It's got a big rock in the middle of it, and it's a magnetic rock called Esfedra, and it sounds cheesy, but that island does draw you back in, like as a magnet. It's just amazing.
I know people that's have been going to Ibiza since like that Ibiza heyday, and still going. So it must be fun there.
It's amazing. So you can dip into the party scene, but also you can. Restaurants and beaches, like I said.
I'm going to stay in the middle and just...
stay in the middle.
A bit like Gran Canaria. Gran Canaria can do a little bit of everything. And to come back here, what brought you back here to Shropshire?
I just wanted to come home, and when I was out there, my final season I was out there, I was kind of ready to come home and start business again.
Yeah.
It was just too much partying. I was tired. So I wanted to kind of get that maturity back into myself again, and start business again, and so when I was out there I was writing loads of ideas down, and kind of fish and chips kind of was the idea which I was writing down the most.
Which, by the way, blows my mind, because we are in the UK. We are this is the home of king and chips. It's something that's done like traditionally over and over and over again. But you found a way to flip the script on fish and chips, and I don't know how that's even possible.
Yeah, if anyone knows me, I like skulls, and I like that dark sort of pirate sort of vibe, and if there's reincarnation, I'll probably come back as a pirate. But I tried to influence that into my branding, and pirates and the sea and fish and chips. It kind of worked. So the brand is quite strong with that. So it turns a few heads, and some of the slogans that I've got and some of the slogans that I've put on the van, people are like, wow, where'd you come up with that? And I just
did you come back to Shropshire and they were like, Ryan, who? Where's he been? I didn't even. Is he back? What's going on? Like, was it hard to get a bit of momentum going when you had this idea?
Yeah, it was. It was a little bit, yeah. But like when you get Shrewsbury's only small, but when you get out of Shrewsbury, and you learn off different people, and you get loads of different ideas, and then you kind of bring it back, and you can wow a few people. Do you know what I mean? You can wow people in Shrewsbury with different ideas from different places.
Yeah, You can. Just a warning as well to listeners and to yourself, Ryan, that the batteries on this, I thought they were fine. They're flashing at me, so that I might need to change them at some point. But we might get away with it. I don't know. So fish heads. Did you come up with the idea of fish heads while you were in Ibiza, or was it just like a concept that just rolled from something else?
Yeah, it was in Ibiza. I used to tell people that I'm going to do a fish and chip shop. It was a fish and chip shop first, and then it just kind of snowballed into a van. Looked at kind of the rates and everything like that, and I just thought.
Did you see the Jon Favreau movie and think, I want to do that?
Yeah, I want to do
Chef.
that.
Guys, go and watch the movie Chef. It's amazing.
It is a great film. So I just got the ideas down. I just wrote so many ideas down. Drew loads of pictures, and that's what I do. I just get my notepad out and just write loads of ideas, and I've still got that notepad now. I look back going, wow, and you know, most of the things are ticked off on it. So
see, most people throw out notebooks, but I guess you're like me, and you've got like a bookcase full of them or a box full of them.
Yeah.
From my original, I found one the other day from when I was first planning. Way before the Shrewsbury Biscuit, writing down ideas, writing scripts, writing, like, I used to do little bits for the radio, Al's Entertainment Buzz, 8-minute shows. Hi guys, and welcome to Al's Entertainment Buzz. We're going to talk to you about movies. And I found all the original scripts. That's just weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your mind works. You put it onto page and you just kind of like, what was it?
I'm not, if anyone knows me, I'm the worst technical, you know, computers, anything like that, I'm the worst.
Yeah.
The old-fashioned pen and paper is always out.
I was chatting to my friend the other day who's very tech savvy, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm waiting to start my new diary. I got an academic diary." She was like, "No, why don't you do Google Calendar?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"I could, but like I like to write my times down in a diary. I liked it. It was weird."
It is, yeah.
So you come back to Shrewsbury, you have this idea for fish heads. What's the first thing you do then? You need to go and buy a van, I guess.
Yeah.
How's that?
It was either, you know, get a van, you know, an old van, a second-hand van, and kind of a horse box as such, which quite a lot of people are converting. But I just thought I wanted to wow people with it, really. So I got it's a place called Pro Fry in Peterborough, and they buy a van in with nothing in it. And you have a meeting with them, and you say what you want in that van.
Really?
So you say how many fries you want a fridge in it, you've obviously got to have a sink in it, but do you want a bain-marie in it, everything like that. So they design it for you. And then, you know, 2 months down the line, it's built for you.
That's wicked.
Yeah, really good service, Pro Fry in Peterborough, and all they deal in is fish and chip vans. That's it.
Having been at a lot of the festivals that Beth's been putting on lately, food festival and what have you, I mean, seen some of the food trucks, they're just amazing.
Yeah.
Like state of the art. Just look, I was talking about the Wild Kitchen before you went on this. I had some of their burgers, and Jesus, their food truck is just beautiful. So yeah, I can imagine that what you've got given to you is just
they've done a really good job, really good, and it operates so good.
So you get your truck put together, and where's the first place you show up, and what was that experience like for you with fish heads?
Yeah, it was just driving it through Shrewsbury. It was a bit surreal. I had to get the train to Peterborough to pick it up, and then just drove it around Shrewsbury. I think I did about 20 laps around Shrewsbury in it, and then I can't even remember my first event actually, but yeah, then it just, you know, snowballed into doing events then.
Because I remember when the Beefy Boys truck rolled into Shrewsbury, that caused mayhem.
Yeah.
Queues around the corner, because people do go mad for food trucks. It's weird.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely taken off, you know, the food trucks. And I do believe that obviously the pandemic helped that. Because obviously people couldn't go into restaurants, so there was food trucks in car parks, and you know, so it did help establish, you know, the food trucks.
I remember one of the most random nights I can remember. I went to Birmingham to watch Jay and Silent Bob reboot, because it's a Kevin Smith film, and he released it in the most obscure places around the UK. So we went to Birmingham and met some of my mates, and I'd never been to Digbeth, the food place they've got there. And I had a few pints, and I was just like, where am I? Like, there's all these food trucks everywhere. There's drink flowing, there's music going. Yeah. It's one of the most amazing things.
Really good vibe.
It's really good culture, isn't it? Food truck culture.
Really good.
Street food, isn't it?
The street food culture, yeah, it's really good. And it's good because you see different vendors at different places in the country, you know, and I was next to you last year, or
so there's a good community.
Yeah,
guys.
very good community, and they always help each other out. You know, if someone asks for, you know, for example, cakes, I always recommend someone that I know that does cakes, and you know, so they do help each other out.
Let's get onto the subject that everybody's tuned in for, definitely, and that's the food. Mm-hmm. Right? What did you do to fish and chips to make it stand out from the others?
Yeah, we just try to do it as traditional as possible, really, because I do believe, you know, fish and chips has been hundreds and hundreds of years, you know, and I do believe that if people change it a lot, it kind of goes out of sync of what it used to be. So we kind of keep it basic with the fish and chips with a bit of a twist. We've got Hank Marvin Festival tomorrow.
Shout out to the guys at Hank Marvin. I'm sorry I've never reached out before. It's something I've never really covered, but maybe next time we can get to know those guys.
Yeah, great guys, Sammy and Crossy, really, really good operators, really good guys. Got a real good thing going on there. So yeah, for Hank Marvin, we're doing soft shell crab. We're doing. I
saw that picture. I was like, babe, do you know what they're doing on this truck?
Yeah. So we're doing popcorn crayfish as well, and we've got a big bloomer, fish and chip bloomer, which is a bloomer cut in half with chips, curry sauce, fish in it. So it's a big fish and chip shop bloomer. So we're doing that as well.
That's fantastic.
Just as simple things as battered sausage on a stick with curry sauce. Just
that's my
basic,
kind of meal.
Yeah, just basic things. So fingers crossed, we've got people just walking around with big sausages on a stick tomorrow. So that's what we wanted. And food festivals, you know, it's good to get little bits out there. You know, people don't want a big meal; they want to try different things.
I can imagine, you know, your battered crabs that I saw the pictures of, and I imagine if that takes off, that's your own thing then, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. It's a real light tempura batter, so it's a soft shell crab. So obviously it's got no shell on it, and it comes with a sweet chili dip. And I'm not just saying this. It is amazing. I've got a chef on board which cooked me a couple the other day, and we had a guy taking photos, and he was just like, "Wow, it's amazing." So hopefully people will think it's amazing tomorrow. So.
Fantastic! You got an interesting mind, man. You've got like a mind that just doesn't stop. I feel like you're always looking for new ideas.
Yeah, my mind does go 100 miles an hour all the time. I've got a chef on board called Stu, and he said to me yesterday, actually, he said your brain goes 100 miles an hour all the time.
I just stop, please, because I can't keep.
I always think of ideas, and you know, like I said, I've got a pad that I write down all the time. It's by my bed, and I just write things down all the time, just different ideas.
I think as an entrepreneur, as someone that creates businesses and opportunities, it's good to have a mind like that, though, isn't it? Or can it be dangerous?
It can be. I always believe that, you know, entrepreneurs, you know, to have a thought in your mind and get that thought actually to be something, I think is amazing, really. If it just comes in a thought in your brain, and then next thing you know, you've got a van, or you've got a business, or you've got something. You know, it's quite not a gift as such, but I think that, you know, it is very special, really.
I feel like sometimes, so I'll bring this to a level I think maybe people might understand, but like at the moment, I think people are talking about Warner Discovery at the moment. If people with the movies at the moment, it's hard to stay away from the fact that the Warner Brothers DC movie universe hasn't really worked for a few years. They keep making movies that are just absolute garbage. And then there's problems like with Ezra Miller. Go and Google what's Ezra Miller's up to lately, guys. You'll find out the Amber Heard thing. It's just constant, like all these problems that are going on, and so Warner sold up to Discovery, and they've walked in and they've made wholesale changes. They're like, we're not making this movie anymore. No. You're fired. This is not happening anymore. And they're coming in and they're just tearing the floorboards up, and it's one of the best things I think's ever happened. And I think that's because they had too many ideas.
Yeah. Too many.
Just rolling off with this. And it gets boring after a while, doesn't it? To have all these ideas one after the other. And then there's companies that go out of business for not making enough changes. Yeah. It's like, where's that fine line?
It's hard. It is very hard. And like you said, you know, people do too many ideas, and you know, it's hard to implement them ideas. Yeah. So I tend to do a thing called five before 5. So I do 5 jobs a day, 5 big jobs a day before 5 o'clock. I try and do that, and if I can't do them 5 jobs, it adds on to the next day. So it's 5 before 5.
Oh, okay.
I tend to do that, but
That's interesting.
sometimes it's 15 before 5, you know, and it just gets a little bit too much. So I've narrowed it down to 5.
I always ask, you know, I've spoken to a few entrepreneurs, millionaires, business owners around over the years, and one of the interesting things is a morning. What does a morning look like for an entrepreneur? And Jesse Iwuji, who's a friend of ours, who's been on the show before. He owns his own NASCAR Infinity team, right? He's a serving soldier still. He's just an amazing guy, just this industrious mind.
Yeah.
And the first thing he does, because you know you hear like, oh, don't look at your phone, have some breakfast. Straight onto his emails, look for fires to put out.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, all my business is fine. Is there anything I need to do? Work out, shower, good breakfast. You know, and like it's interesting. What's your morning like? What do you do? What's the first things you process to make sure that you?
You know, there is obviously, like you just said there, not look at your phone and stuff, but that's the first thing you go to. You know, because if you know got emails that you need to get back to, so looking at the phone, like you said, good breakfast, go to the gym. You know, and just kind of start the day right. Drink.
I'm gonna take pictures of you while you're talking. Sorry.
Drink lots of water, you know, and just kind of go about the day. And like I said, 5 before 5. Try and get them started as soon as possible.
I've heard this before. I knew a guy called Alex. I don't think he'll mind me chat. I won't say his surname. I worked with him in Tesco years and years ago. I was a kid, man. I was like 18, 19. And this guy used to muck about, man. He just didn't care. Like, he was just an absolute tearaway.
Yeah.
And like 5 or 6 years later, I saw him on Wrexham train station, and he looked like Action Man.
Yeah.
He almost didn't look like him. I was like, what? He was like, I'm a Marine Commando now.
Wow.
And I was like, you? Of all people. And he's like, yeah, very similar to yourself. He's like, I woke up one day, realised that I wasn't going anywhere in life, and I decided to do something positive every single day. Let's make a change every single day. And he did that.
Yeah, that's great.
It's amazing.
No,
I'm taking a picture of you, sorry.
No, it is good.
And how has Fish Heads been received on the whole? I mean, have you created quite a bit of a buzz? Is there queues whenever you guys pull up?
We have, to be honest, and you know, I'm very thankful for that, and you know, very humbled. You know, we are very, very busy. We've got loads of weddings booked. Weddings are really good. We enjoy going to weddings.
I saw that picture of the groom biting into the hot chip.
I know, yeah.
That's really funny.
Photographer got that nailed that on. But yeah, weddings are good. We've got a permanent place in Much Wenlock, which we're on the garage on the corner there to serve the people of Much Wenlock, which is really good. Love to Stay have been really good for us as well. We're at Love to Stay.
Great guys. Yeah, I was there today.
Amazing place.
Shout out to the guys there. We're going to be doing pod aid from there. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, amazing place, amazing concept what they've got up there.
With Fish Heads being a success and doing well, is there going to be a legacy from Fish Heads? Are you going to build upon it, or are you just going to happily just let it do its thing?
No, I want to kind of build on it, really. I think I've got another thing in the pipeline called Sweet Heads, where I want to do a pirate ship sweet cart, which is getting done. A bit
like Mr. T, what he does in Wrexham. You know what I'm on about?
Yeah, I know him with the ice creams and stuff.
Yeah.
But I want to do like a sweet cart and do it for weddings and and make it like a pirate ship, but call it Sweet Heads. And then I've got Fish Heads, Sweet Heads, and eventually, hopefully, it could snowball into
get some dress-up actors.
Willy Wonka, someone dressed up like that as well.
That'd be fantastic.
So I did exactly the same thing as before. Just wrote loads of ideas down, and I've got actually the logo done. I'm just waiting for it to get built, put together now.
So would you rock them two up together, like, or maybe send them to different?
Yeah, I would different places. Kids' parties, christenings, stuff like that. I have candy floss machine with it, and I've pink candy floss, black candy floss, and just popcorn machine, unlimited sweets and stuff, and just do that.
I imagine as well though that the festivals, a lot of the festivals that you go to in events, they're kind of seasonal, aren't they? Towards the winter, it kind of dies out a bit. Do you have to write that into your business plan? Like, what happens when the sun goes down, if you like?
Yeah, we're quite lucky really, because we do quite a lot of corporate events as well. So we do we've done Mercedes, BMW, we've done quite a lot of of the big brands around Shrewsbury. So we go and serve them for lunch. So we do quite a lot of corporate days as well.
That's good.
And in October we're in Newcastle. My friend up there's got a scare fest called Psychopath, when everyone jumps out on everyone and it's like scare mazes and stuff. He's put that on in Newcastle, so we're up there every weekend in October.
I was going to take a look at that. I used to do a bit of scare acting at Shrewsbury Prison.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, for years.
Amazing.
I used to do all sorts of stuff. This is fantastic. It really is good.
It's it's good, and our van will coincide with that. Because obviously it's scary. I think we're right by a pirate ship, so he's invested a lot of money in this massive pirate ship, and people go in and out of this pirate ship, and everyone jumps on them, and we're situated just outside there. So it'll be really good for social media, for the content, where our van's outside a big pirate ship.
I imagine your place could fit in almost anywhere. Comic Cons, scare fests. It's such an amazing idea, and the name Fishheads as well. You think of the name Fishheads and you just go, oh, but then you look at your branding and what you guys are making. You go, oh my god, it makes sense. It's so great.
Thank you, and I love my rock and roll music as well. So I've kind of coincided rock and roll, pirates, skulls, and kind of just coincided that. So
me too. We're going to be later on today, we're going to be interviewing Chasing August. Amazing. They obviously I spoke to him at a party in the Quarry Park, and I was like, you should come on the Biscuit. And usually when I say that, it doesn't ever happen, but like they got a new single coming out, and I've been listening to their stuff all week. And guys, I'm really sorry. I know this is your interview.
No, don't worry.
But Chasing the Cavalry by Chasing August is an absolute belter.
Get on it.
So make sure you Chasing August. Call the Cavalry. I got my words mixed up then. I love it. So yeah, I mean, is that what a lot of influence comes from you? Is music? 'Cause I mean, Ibiza. I'm kind of putting the dots together now that there's a music thing there.
Yeah, it's I love music. Music's power for me. I love it. It can get me in the best of moods. If having a bit of a down day, put some music on, and it's powerful, and it makes me.
It's weird how music is my life. There isn't a day that goes by I don't listen to music. Always, whether I'm having a shave or doing in the shower, or whatever, there's always something, and it depends on how I'm feeling. If I feel like I need to pick me up, I'll put on some Tenacious D or some, I don't know, Lonely Island, or I've got Frank Carter on the disc player there. Like I like Frank, whatever it is, or I might listen to a bit of hip hop, a bit of Nas, or bit of Scooter. Let's get some hardcore. It's weird how my mind works. How there's just no defining genre for me. It's just got to be whatever I'm feeling at the time.
No, you're right. It does. Music. makes you feel good. And I'm a massive Libertines fan. Love Pete Doherty.
I saw you. I was doing a bit of a research. I saw you've been on the.
I love Pete Doherty. Been a fan for. I can't remember. I've probably seen him about 50, 60 times. He's a proper fanboy with him, but I just think he's proper rock and roller.
I love the Libertines. Libertines are great.
And
great.
He's just a complete rock and roller. He hasn't sold himself to go on kids shows, or he's just stayed true to being a complete rock and roller. And it's not about money to him. It's just about his being rock and roll, I guess. And
I feel like that's what you need to do with whatever you're doing, isn't it? You completely immerse yourself into what it is you do, and
stay true to it. I
feel like I don't know, actually that is good advice. Whatever you're doing, if you're passionate about it, get stuck in, right? Enjoy it, but at the same time, don't lose relevance of where you are. What's important around you, your family and your friends and stuff. Because
there's got to be a work-life balance.
It's got to be a balance. It's got to be with the podcast stuff. I spent so long getting out there at festivals, interview, all this sort of stuff. I forgot, where does my my presenter guest relationship end and my friendships begin? And that was a big lesson for me. And I've made some really good friends from the Biscuit, but it's kind of learning how to define that has been quite difficult.
And it was like when I had Smoke Stop and that, I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. Like I said, working 7 days a week, getting up at all different hours. It was successful, but was I happy? Nah, I wasn't happy. So, when we sold it, that's when I thought, right, I'm going to make myself happy here. And like I said, going to Ibiza was my happy place for that many years.
You've got an amazing, I'm not trying to butter you up or anything, but you've got an amazing experience in a way that you've witnessed success to the point where it hurt you. You went away and you're kind of like, no, I need to work to feel normal. And then you come back and I have an amazing idea, and bang, you've got a successful business now, and I feel like you've kind of got a unique experience to a lot of other people, because you're not a failure because a business didn't work. You're a failure because it was too successful and there's too much weight on your shoulders.
Yeah,
and that's not, you don't have
No,
that.
thank you. Yeah, it was like that. You know, we were highly in demand. You know, we did a lot of people came. You know, it was a very, very busy place, and you know, like I said, going to Ibiza and you know, getting told off for being late for work, and you know, it was just absolutely amazing, and an amazing experience.
Very humble. Very humble.
Amazing. You know, like I said, working for, you know, the best operators in the world, because that day club there runs like clockwork, from, you know, the GM to the directors down to the cleaners. Everyone knows what they do every day, and it's just amazing.
Would you go back there?
You know what? I would.
You guys run fish heads for a bit. I'm off to Ibiza for 5 months. I'll see you later.
I don't think I could. I don't think, because I was an old one there, you know. So I went when I was what? I'm 38 this month, so I went there when I was 33.
All right, Grandad.
So yeah, I was old. So, like, my mates were like 21, 22 out there, you know, and I was like the older one, but I kind of fitted in, you know what I mean? And you know, I was the one like Uncle Ryan. I used to give him advice and stuff, and try and help him out and that. So I was an old head out there.
No, I'm glad to see you. It was a good experience for you overall, though, and I feel like we're all benefiting now. You know, you've got fish heads rolling around Shropshire that people are enjoying. Much we're not seem to be getting the most of it. Bit jealous, but you know. So you're going to, obviously this is going to go out after Hank Marvin.
Yeah.
What events are you going to be doing during the summer? Is there anything that you're doing, the flower show or anything like that? What's going on?
We're actually we're going to Essex next Tuesday. We're going to Middlesbrough on the Wednesday.
Wow!
So we're getting a lot of people
nationwide.
Yeah, you know, getting a lot of people, you know, interested in us outside of Shropshire, which is amazing. And the van's, you know, a good van to drive as well, you know, so we know it's not going to break down when we get there. Because when I had one at Smoke Stop, I had an old library, and I converted an old library. It's a big yellow library in it, and I
remember the library truck that I'd pull up.
Yeah, I know. Honestly,
free school book day.
Probably done about 300,000 miles. So
really?
When I was going to do weddings and festivals, I used to drive that, and I used to dread it because I thought we were going to break down. But this van that I've got now can travel anywhere. It's amazing.
With like, I imagine with chips, the fryers, right? So you got to be careful how to brake or the fryers.
No, so basically it's been designed where it's got kind of like a screw top, a metal screw top. So as soon as you finish service, you put this screw top on, you can drive away.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so you don't have to wait for it to cool down or anything. So sometimes we do back-to-back events. So, for example, Hank Marvin on the Saturday.
Driving around with 300 degree.
Yeah. It's just locked in. It's just like a screw top on a bottle, just locked in, and it doesn't go anywhere.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, so we've got Hank Marvin on the Saturday, and then we've got a wedding in the evening. So as soon as we finish Hank Marvin, you know, put the tops on, we're away.
I'd like to. I always say these things. I always come with a lot of ideas. I'd love to bring a camera and just. It sounds daft, but like follow you from the day for the day at an event, like preparation, the madness of being in the kitchen, getting everything out, and then you guys packing away, and just to show you guys that, you know, it's not all romance when it comes to food trucks and street food.
Definitely not romance. Definitely, especially constantly stinking of fish every day.
That's
the worst.
The Queen's Baton Relay, the guys are all in the food trucks. They were just dripping with sweat. It was like 35 degrees, but they seem to do a good job.
Yeah.
So, you know,
it is intense. You know, it's very, very intense. But you know, I wouldn't change that. I quite like the intensity.
Where can people sort of follow you guys on social media? Do you have a social media presence about where you go and what you're doing?
Yeah. On our Instagram's probably our best platform. You know, it says where we're going to be week in, week out. So that's probably the best one.
Amazing. And this is a generic thing. I like to ask this though. So please try and be original.
Yeah.
But say there's a young entrepreneur now with a notepad. This is a really old one too. A notepad, and they've got an idea. What advice would you give them to go forward with their ideas?
That's a good question. I would say whatever field that they're going to do is research that field, you know, and make sure, you know, write everything down, all ideas, like I said before, just writing everything down and just research that idea, and, you know, and try and add a little bit of creativity to it. You know, different is better. You know, I think being different is, you know, is better. And don't let anyone hold you back and don't let anyone say you can't do anything in
Yeah.
life, because there is a way you can do it. If you've got your mindset on something, you know, nine times out of 10 you can do it.
Absolutely. The great advice, because there are a lot of naysayers out there, especially when it comes to your very close peers. They're kind of like, you can't do that. You need a
Yeah.
proper job. And I've spoken to people that, you know, have done really obscure jobs and become really successful.
Yeah.
And if they'd have listened to the folks, they may
Yeah.
not have done that. So yeah, you got to listen to yourself.
Yeah, and you know, my dad's always been, you know, he's like a hero of mine.
Yeah, on the flip side, your folks are also a really great inspiration.
Yeah, he's been great. Any advice that I've ever had, he
Fantastic.
gives me the best advice. So he's a good man.
Brilliant. Well, you know what, it's been great chatting to you, and you know, if there's anything that you want us to help with the biscuit, just
Brilliant.
reach out. We got cameras and microphones
Brilliant,
and stuff
yeah,
that we can bring out to you guys. Yeah, it's been fantastic chatting to you. We'll catch up with you again.
Yeah, bro.
A huge thank you to Liam Tinsley as well for sorting this out, putting us together and hooking us up. He's a great guy. He really is. And I want to tell you guys before we get out of here, we got a charity event coming up. I keep talking about it, but it's very important that I do. On the 29th of September at 9 a.m. We're going to go live for 24 hours, and we're not going to stop, obviously, until 9 a.m. the next day on the 30th. The reason why we do it on the 30th, by the way, guys, is because that coincides with International Podcast Day. We did the same last year. The guy who runs International Podcast Day is a friend of ours, Dave Lees. He's going to come on the show, talk to us about what those guys do. So we're not stealing from their thunder. In fact, we're actually prepping them. It's kind of a nice thing. So Pod Aid is going to be in aid of Lincoln Davis. We're going to try and raise as much money as we possibly can. Last year, we helped raise over £3,000 with donations from companies and from listeners. And so we're going to try and beat that this year. We have 24-hour-long guests that are going to be coming on, and we're going to be doing it at Love to Stay. It's going to be fantastic. We have our sponsors, Reach, who are making us look great with our logos and our designs. And very soon, the social media is going to start. It's just going to kick into life, and we're going to need all your support. We're selling hour-long sponsor slots. So if you want to get your company, your business, your band, your podcast, whatever it is you got involved, for £100, you can buy an hour-long sponsor slot. And what we'll do is we'll display your logo and we'll give you, this hour is brought to you by, and then we'll announce your company and tell you with thanks. And every single penny of that goes towards Lincoln Davis. So if you do want to get involved, please get in touch with me at the show, and I'll give you a time slot. You donate the money, and then that's it. Done. So please get in touch. Ryan, thank you so much for chatting to me again.
Alex, thank you.
This has been great. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.